Imagine a thriller where a newly hired nocturnal caretaker discovers that one of her elderly residents is running a lucrative, highly sophisticated phone scam ring right out of his room, targeting frantic families by mimicking relatives in distress. Instead of reporting him, she's transfixed by his charisma, quickly transforming this quiet retirement home into a twisted partnership where the boundaries between caregiver and criminal accomplice completely dissolve. Ford promised us a sweat-slicked 90s-style psychosexual thriller, but what director Georgia Bernstein actually delivers is a gorgeous, hyper-sterile and glacially paced slow burn that fundamentally forgets to put enough narrative meat on its bones. Audiences expecting a fast-paced crime caper will be left bewildered by what is actually an unsettling, quiet meditation on emotional codependency. Now, I was kind of looking forward to this. I think we need more horny cinema in theaters, and we're starting to get that with Night Nurse and The Invite coming out. I see where the director was going with this, but I don't think they went far enough. Bruce McKenzie plays Douglas. He is this very charismatic older man running these phone scams with these nurses, and he's got like this cult-like following. But I can see it sort of in his performance, but I think it goes a little too far where he's got pretty much the whole staff of that retirement home under his spell. Like, the entire staff is this completely brainwashed uniform collective. But the core of the story is between Douglas and Eleni, played by Cemre Paksoy, and I think both their performances are fantastic in this. I haven't seen Paksoy in anything other than this, and she gives a great performance as this kind of wide-eyed and quiet nurse who shifts her character throughout the movie. She becomes like more obsessive with him and more possessive of him, even though he's kind of like messing with these other nurses. And it's set early on that he is impotent, so it's almost like their sex scenes are these phone scams that they're running on these other elderly people in the community. It's almost like just the thrill of it. And even with every preceding phone call, it comes off more sexual. It starts out as her playing like a small innocent girl, and then later it's almost like BDSM play over the phone. It's not just like financial greed, but it's like a warped, deeply dark compulsion to be desperately needed. It's their shared sexual currency, and it kind of blurs the line between caregiver, accomplice, and emotional codependent. And I think that's fascinating. I think that is the most interesting part of this movie, but it takes time to get there. This is a slow burn. And Lydia Nikonova is doing great work with her cinematography in this. Like the pristine suburban security with underlying rot. It's almost like an unsettling voyeuristic sequence involving elderly exercise pool where the staff move with an eerie, hushed attachment. And with the music, the movie's kind of a vibe. You kind of just flow with it, with the low lumbering score, and then they just completely get rid of the score with their phone scams, which is like their sex scenes, basically. They're on a coiled landline cord, and there's like heavy breathing, erotic whispers, airy flutes, making the fraudulent phone call feel like an intimate, forbidden sacrament. And like I said with the music, it's like a hypnotic fever dream, but I found it's what other critics have said is like a tantalizing misfire. There's a lot of sparse dialogue and lingering stares. It just doesn't feel like I'm watching characters. It just feels like I'm watching a strange human study. And also in this movie is Mimi Rogers. She plays the facility director. It kind of lends to that 90s psychological credibility. And of course, they're investigating the fraudulent phone calls. And those phone calls don't stop, and they keep escalating. Because there's a shift that happens midway through as it goes, is that Eleni is actually getting more into it, and he seems less interested in it. Now, I was kind of thinking of like some of the themes explored, like the weaponization and perversion of caretaking. It is an intimate act, and this movie kind of twists it. It subverts the professional obligation of intimacy. These phone calls aren't for cold hard cash, it's an addiction of being desperately needed. The act of caregiving is like this dark, intoxicating force that completely blinds her to human morality. Their deception of these other people is their shared sexual currency. And of course, there's the isolation, aging, and just suburbia. And there's this extreme intergenerational age gap between these two leads that you don't see very often. You can tell she doesn't really have a life outside of this, and he is basically where he's at now. It's like they're both craving this desperate connection, accepting a intimacy that is entirely synthetic and transactional just to feel alive. But again, I didn't love this movie. It was very slow. And like I said, there wasn't enough meat on the bones for it to be satisfying. I go over these themes and I'm still kind of lacking that extra context I needed and that this movie should have delivered, or this story. I mean, Night Nurse is exquisitely shot, beautifully acted psychosexual thriller that suffers from a severe lack of both psychology and sex. Cemre Paksoy delivers a haunting, star-making performance as Eleni, capturing a fragile, chilling stillness that perfectly matches Bruce McKenzie's predatory, smarmy charisma. They do everything they can to elevate the material, but director Georgia Bernstein's hyper-focus on visual texture and late-night 90s cable aesthetic comes at like the expense of a skeletal script that simply runs out of places to go. It is a fascinating, deeply atmospheric cinematic experiment that ultimately leaves you feeling as stranded and isolated as the residents of its luxury retirement facility. So I'm giving Night Nurse a 2.5 out of 5. But what did you think of Night Nurse? Let me know down in the comments below. If you like this video, hit that like button and consider subscribing. If you want to support the channel a little further, hit that join button down below to join our membership. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.